What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on a an interview that Jaylen Brown gave to. I don't know I don't know who he gave it to, right? But anyway, he spoke on how money can ruin relationships, right? It could come in between relationships, even family members and people that he think that you thought you were close to. Money can ruin these relationships, right? Now, Shannon Sharp, Ocho Cinco, and Joe Johnson reacted to it, right? So what I want to do is play the audio from their show and give my reaction, right? Because I have a lot to say. I think, in my opinion, and I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, right? But I do think that this is by design, because when you get money, if anybody comes into money, it's almost like automatic that it'll just cause a divide between, I mean, it family members, husband and wives, everybody. It just causes a divide. So, but with that being said, let me play this interview. I mean, this Shannon Sharp's reaction to it. Then I'm gonna come back and give my reaction.
Becoming successful is how he can change, how it can change the people closest to you. Let's take a listen to what JB had to say.
Think about a lot of different situations and conversations. I think that's the hardest part for a young man, a young woman. But that's been the hardest part for me to navigate, because it puts you on an island, isolates you. Conversations become, invoices. Like it just gets, the lines get blurred, and it gets tough. And as a young man, puts you away from and disconnected to certain things where it feels like if you need something or you want to go somewhere, you can't even go there. But as you mature, you get used to it, and you learn to find whatever solace that you need. But if you're talking about the emotion of money, that's I think one of the most important conversations is that shift, that dynamic shift, and how that affects the mental health of yourself.
Man, he ain't lie. He said some truth though.
All right, so before they give their input, right? Let me just say the key part to me, what he said about is isolation, right? And see, that's what they want to do. They want to isolate you, so they give you all this money. And if you look at a lot of famous people, the first thing they feel like they need to do is cut off certain people, right? And so that isolation makes you vulnerable, right? But if you know how to select certain people to be around you, then you're not isolated, right? So there's a way to be able to keep people around you, keep people in your circle without isolating yourself. Because like I said, that isolation makes you vulnerable. And I just thought that was a point that people need to they need to really keep that in mind, because no relationship is perfect, right? So you just can't do away with all relationships because you don't trust people. But you do need to always be aware of like what people's motivations are, and what their intent is. So let me get back to what Shannon Sharp and these guys are saying.
He ain't lie.
Yeah.
It affects the people around you more than it affects you, bro. Because at the end of the day, Uncle Ocho, they want to live the same lifestyle you've lived. They want the same type of stuff that you got. Yeah, you can't do that, bro. If I help you, I help you. Hell, if I don't, I don't. You know what I mean? But
not obligated.
Yeah, I ain't obligated. But when some people have you feeling somewhat entitled, bro, and you got to get rid of them. I'm just keeping 100 with you. You got to get rid of them. Can't be around them. Don't bring them around you. Let them stay where they be, bro. I don't give a damn who it is, family or not.
That's
now. So that was Joe Johnson, right? And I definitely agree with him. Like right off the top, certain people you cannot be around, right? Because they serve no purpose. And that's another thing, right? You just can't have people in your life for the sake of just having people in your life. Like you wouldn't have on a basketball team a person on a team just for the sake of having them on a team. they have to have a position, they have to have a role, right? And so the same thing goes for your life. You just can't have people. It's very dangerous to have people around just for the sake of having them around. You know, if they don't have a purpose, you know, and they don't serve a purpose, then they can't do anything but bring you down.
One of the worst feelings. That's one of the worst feelings that they actually have, and to have people that were not there from day one. I'm talking about to have people, Joe, that were not there from day one, that come in while you've already made it, while you're already successful. I ain't talking about. I'm not talking about.
Hey, but Ocho,
family.
hell, even some that is, even some that was there day one. Hell, you can't take care of damn body.
Yeah, no, you can't. You have to learn to say no. I'm very good at that. My circle, and we talked about this a long time ago in the earlier shows about my circle still being the same. My circle is still the same. I have my small knit group in Cincinnati. I got my small knit group here in Miami, and it hasn't changed regardless of what have I achieved, what I've achieved through life. When I was at the bottom, they still here. When I made it to the top, they still here. When I fell, I ain't fall all the way to the bottom.
And see, another thing that people don't realize, if they, like I said, if you serve a purpose and we all working towards a certain goal, there may be certain things that I can do. You know, if you have financial freedom or financial success, there's certain things that you'll be able to do for the group. But then somebody in your circle might be able to bring some other skill set and be able to help the group grow and help the group evolve. But again, it has to be, they have to bring something to the table. They can't be there just for the sake of, you know, being there. And that's, even if you don't, you know, even if you're not a wealthy person, you just, certain people you just don't keep around, you know. It's no good, you know. It's just like, you know, if you're a family man, you know, you have your wife and your kids and you know, but everybody in that household is you know, have a duty and a job to do. And that's how the same thing with everybody else, even people outside of your household, you know. And they don't, a lot of people or a lot of athletes don't realize that you just can't have, people have to be able to serve a purpose. They just can't excuse me, they just can't be there for the sake of just being there.
When I fell a little bit, they were still here. Now I'm back up, it's still the same people. Nothing has changed. And I learned how to say no, Joe. I learned how to say no, because saying no, what it does is it weeds out all the ones who really ain't there for you anyway. It's easy. The word no, it's powerful because it forces people to show their true colors. I always listen. I always listen to everything people say to me, especially when they say it in joking form.
Because it's got some truth in it.
Especially when they say it in joking form.
And that's what I tell people. When people talk about, oh, he was just joking. Hey, there's truth in jokes.
Yes, sir.
Every time.
And sometimes people try to camouflage their truth by trying to make it funny.
Yeah.
Because the job of a comedian is take real events and make them funny.
Yeah.
Come on now.
That's how
it ain't even Sunday, but go ahead.
So
it ain't even Sunday. Go ahead.
That's what people, he was just joking. Oh, he don't know how to take a joke. Nah, he tried to frame it as a joke.
Joke, yeah.
But he meant what he said, or she meant what she said.
You got to keep them people from riding.
So hold on. You don't do taxes. Why? Because you're not a CPA. You're not a tax accountant. So why you trying to tell jokes? Why you trying to be funny? You're not a comedian.
Yeah.
And see, the thing about that is people try to immediately, they know that, you know, once you come into some money like that, large sums of money, then you have people who come into your circle with the illusion of trying to help you, right? Then so you have to be aware of those people, right? And it can be tricky, you know. And those people try to manipulate. Those people try to they'll try to control the circle and the people that are around you. So you got to be aware of that, right? But everybody has to have a purpose. You have to learn how to manage your own money. You can't give like accountants like access to accountants and people who do your taxes and stuff like that, and money managers. You just can't give them access to your accounts. like that. You know, you have to be the ones who do like write the checks basically. You know, they can go over the paperwork and show you how to distribute or how to spend your money, how to manage your money and stuff like that. But you can't have them actually managing your money for you, because even the people, you know, especially people, they make the mistake of hiring somebody who is don't even have as much money as you do, especially an athlete like this guy, Jaylen Brown, right? You talking about managing tens of millions of dollars, right? And he'll have somebody who don't even have that kind of money managing his money. So eventually they're gonna wind up stealing from him, right? And so it happens to almost every athlete who you know, who makes that kind of money. And it's all by design, because the minute you learn, or the minute you put yourself in a position to make that kind of money, there are people who know how to siphon your wealth off, you know, and that's what you definitely have to be aware of. So you have to know how to keep your money and be able to have the right people around you. So that's my take. You know, it really gets deep, I think, in my opinion. So like I said, that's my take. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.